I'm not concerned. I'm not concerned at all. I didn't leave that game worried about the Broncos. I didn't leave that game worried about Russ. I left that game thinking even a blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then. And I'm not going to call the Seattle Seahawks blind squirrels, but they might be blind Seahawks because they did get lucky with one. I love my dog, Quandre Diggs. I shout him out. Incredible job forcing a fumble at the goal line on Melvin Gordon.
He's very good.
But I can't anticipate that every time the Broncos get down to the 1 yard line, they're going to fumble. The Denver Broncos, 433 yards last night. They balled from the 20 to the 20. Truly, they balled from the 10 to the 10. Where do they got to get better? Within the 1 yard line. So I left that game still fairly optimistic about Russ. I left that game fairly optimistic about the Broncos. I'm not really concerned at all. It wasn't the storybook ending Russell Wilson hoped for in his return, but I ain't tripping because it happens. Joy, where do you stand? You concerned about the Broncos after the loss?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I am. First of all, I love that word luck. Luck. Luck favors the what? Prepared.
Sure, in the bold.
Okay. It's normally, I like prepared. Okay. It's luck favors the prepared. Because people tell you you're lucky all the time. Am I lucky or did I work really hard and prepare better than you did? That's what happened with the Seahawks. The Seahawks didn't get lucky last night. The Broncos were really bad, and the Seahawks were more prepared and took advantage of situations and won the game. Now, I don't think that Seattle is going to be this great team based off of what I saw last night, but what you saw was they were outcoached, they were outplayed, and Seattle was more disciplined. You can't have 12 penalties for 106 yards and talk about you played a good game. Right. That's what's concerning to me about Denver. They're not a team yet. And this is why this wasn't a turnkey situation for Russell Wilson going to the Broncos. We have all said, oh, they're just a quarterback away. They're just a quarterback away. Well, now they have a new quarterback and a new coach. And that matters, as you saw last night. This is not only a new coach, this is a first-time head coach, which is why that went as badly as it did at the end of the game. That's what's concerning about it. It's not about Russ being able to play a great game and put up numbers. I know Russell Wilson can do that. But Russell Wilson only plays the quarterback position. You can't have that many penalties. You can't go 0-4 in the red zone. You can't fumble that way. You got to take care of the ball. You got to be disciplined. You can't give the game away. You can't beat yourselves. Those things, to me, are what needs to be fixed, and I don't believe that happens overnight.
So, Shady, this is where I disagree with Joy. Talent you can't fix overnight. I was never going to be as athletic as LeSean McCoy. It just wasn't going to happen. I was going to try. I could pray about it all I wanted, but it wasn't going to happen.
God still loves you. Go ahead. Come on.
I can't stand you.
I'm going to spit out my coffee.
But I could be more disciplined. Right? On Monday through Friday, Coach could say, hey, Acho, be more attentive about forcing the turnover. Yeah. Monday through Friday, Coach would say, hey, Shady, be more attentive about holding on to the ball. How concerned are you after seeing what the Broncos did yesterday, even though they lost?
I'm very concerned. And the reason why is because it won't be the Seahawks, right? It won't be Geno Smith at quarterback. It won't be that. It'll be Justin Herbert. It'll be Patrick Mahomes, right? Derek Carr. And when you're having these fumbles at the one, not once, but twice, Pat's going to go down there and score, right? Herbert's going to go down there and score. It won't be no field goals. There won't be no conservative offense. Let's do rollouts and hit the tight end. No. It's going to be the tight end going 30, 40 yards. Travis Kelce, right? So my thing is, when I'm talking about being concerned, I'm more concerned of who you're playing next. And that division is the toughest division in football we've ever seen. So I'm very concerned and nervous.
You're 100% right about that. But also keep in mind, the AFC West is going to cannibalize itself. And if it doesn't, I'll be surprised. The reason I bring that up is, yes, they're all very good teams. They all have to play each other. The Raiders are 0-1 right now because they played a really good Chargers team. The Chargers play the Chiefs on Thursday night. One of those teams is going to be 1-1 in 2 days. That buys you some margin for error, in my opinion.
So you're not sweating it. You're not concerned after watching
I'm not any more worried about the Denver Broncos than I am about any other team that had a surprising result. Like, how worried are you about the Cincinnati Bengals? I think most people will say, oh, Pittsburgh's a pretty good team. They beat themselves, right? They had 5 turnovers. Joe Burrow got sacked 7 times. Zach Taylor, speaking of coaching, awful situational football in overtime there, punting with a running clock. Literally, like, they could have run 20 more seconds off the clock, and they punt to Pittsburgh, setting up the game-losing field goal, game-winning for Joy's Steelers. What, are you sweating the Bengals? I know I'm not. Weird stuff happens, and I get it. We don't think much of the Seahawks. We also have no idea. Like, at the end of the day, we don't know truly who's who. Exactly.
Yeah. So, say that again?
We don't know. We don't know who's who.
So we don't know who the Seahawks are?
Not at all.
Not yet.
Okay. So can we all agree, right? We don't know them, but we all agree that they won't make the playoffs, right?
But we probably
can we all agree on that? Real quick?
Did we not all agree last week?
I can't.
Well,
I can't.
I mean, I don't think they will.
Well, here's why I can't.
But didn't we agree last week that the
This is good
Steelers
for
won't make the
TV, I guess.
playoffs?
No. Think about this.
Let me think. Go ahead.
The San Francisco 49ers made the playoffs last year, and Jimmy G got hurt. If you would have told me that Jimmy G was going to get hurt, they were going to start off 3-5, and they were still going to make the playoffs, I would have called you a liar. Starting off 3-5 in that division,
Okay,
I would have called you a liar.
But tell the truth and shame the devil. Before you watched that game last night, you would have sat here yesterday and said the Seahawks might make the playoffs.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
Okay,
Absolutely
so
not.
Okay. So
But right now, you think they could? There's a chance.
But after last night's game, if Geno Smith plays like that,
Oh my God.
if that Seattle Seahawks defense plays well,
Acho's trying to take us into a ditch right now. Like, I mean, all I'm saying is,
We don't know.
But we do agree we didn't think much of the Seahawks going in, right?
I am not going down this rabbit hole with you.
No.
Shady and I are resisting.
We won't. Look,
I won't go
we'll
there.
talk together.
I thought it was a nice game for the Seahawks last night, and they deserve all the credit. I don't think it was a fluke. I don't think it was a fluke. I don't think they got lucky. I think Pete Carroll is a much more experienced coach.
Wait a
and that's
second.
still an NFL team.
No,
and
this don't make
Smith,
sense.
What?
They're contradicting themselves. Last night, we would have said the Denver Broncos could have made the playoffs. Going into that game, we thought the Denver Broncos
I didn't say that the Broncos weren't going to make the playoffs.
Sure,
I
right.
said I'm concerned about that.
I know, but I'm saying going into last night's game, we thought the Broncos could have made the playoffs.
Yes.
We still do.
Yes.
And if yesterday wasn't a fluke, Joy, and you thought the Broncos could make the playoffs, but the Seahawks beat what we think is a playoff team, then how can y'all tell me unequivocally?
Because I never thought that the Broncos were going to go undefeated.
And the thing is, it's the NFL, so anything can happen.
Of course.
Oh, wait, let me ask you a question.
Of course.
Let me ask you a question. See, I'm about to use his own words against me.
Please,
Ready
I'll
for this?
wait.
You told me, right?
What'd I
through
tell
text
you?
message, you said, listen,
Oh, God.
the Broncos, they'll never have 2 fumbles in the red on the 1 yard line again,
Uh-huh.
right? So if they, let's say, next time they'll probably score, at least get 3.
Yes.
They
would win the game.
So my thing is, they will never have that again, right? They'll never be.
Sure. The Broncos won't. But the Seahawks don't play the Broncos every week. Nor do they play the Broncos again this season. I rest my case.
All I'm saying is, again, like what? The Broncos were like a touchdown road favorite and got upset. The Bengals were a touchdown home favorite and lost to a team. Most of us, the Steelers, again, like, not to throw shade at the Steelers, but most of us don't think of them as a real contender.
They have no quarterback.
Goofy stuff happens in week 1. You play poorly. It doesn't make me concerned about the Broncos.
The Broncos are in a very good division. Chargers, Raiders, Chiefs. Where do you think the Broncos will fall, can fall? Can they survive that gauntlet of a division?
Well, yeah, I thought the Broncos were a playoff team before the season started, and I think they are now. But I never thought the Broncos were going to go far in the playoffs this year. And part of the reason was what happened last night. They have a new head coach, a first-time head coach. That really matters. I mean, we talk about Mike McCarthy. What happened in the postseason last year with the Dallas Cowboys? I've tried to erase it from my memory, but it's stuck there, and I can't forget it. Coaching does matter. You can have great players, but when it comes down to situations, NFL games that are mostly won by 3 points or less, you can't have mistakes like that. And that's not on the quarterback. That's not on talent. That's being more prepared. That's having more experience. And that's what the Broncos don't have right now. So do I expect that they will eventually get to that point? Yes, but I never expected them from this year. So I'm not overreacting to week 1. I'm kind of more nervous that my fears were affirmed in how the game went.
So you do think, however, that the Broncos, they shouldn't move their goalposts for success this season. Like, they still, you think, are a playoff team in your eyes, even after last night's performance?
Yes, but I mean, I feel that way about most of the AFC West teams. I do think they'll cannibalize. I don't think all 4 of them are going to make it. Somebody's going to fall out. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the Broncos, but I also wouldn't be surprised if it's the Raiders, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's the Chargers, because that's how that division is going to go.
They're going to be smack in the middle of the giant group of wild card contenders, and that doesn't, like, last night doesn't change my opinion about that.
Can they survive the West, the AFC West?
Yeah, I mean, they can. I don't know if they will, but I absolutely think they can.
Okay, 2-5. Where you
I
stand?
agree. No, I think they got a shot. Got a good quarterback, right? Got a solid team. They'll rebound and they'll make some changes. They'll be all right.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.